The first Dunkey video that I ever watched was a video called Weo Lux, which was on League of Legends. I remember when Birthday Fiddlesticks came out, and that was, good lord, 12 years ago at this point. I remember watching these videos and playing League of Legends when it was still a new game, and believe it or not, little known fact, they still use the same client today to run the game that they used back in 1924 when it first came out. It's been weird for me the last few years engaging with Dunkey's content because something that I'm sure he is both aware of and can never really acknowledge for the purposes of, avoiding parasocial relationships is the fact that a lot of people kind of grew up watching his videos as he grew up. Like, he was a kid making stupid League videos and I was a stupid kid watching those videos. So I've always felt a certain sense of joy seeing his success, That guy that I remember subscribing to when he wasn't a big YouTuber at all, really. And then he just kept growing and growing. I remember when he quit League and it was a big thing. And I think if you watch that video, you can tell he was well aware that to a degree, by quitting League, a lot of people would unsubscribe.
I'm done making League of Legends videos. I'm sorry to my fans that only watch my League videos, but please, go watch my other videos. I put so much work into them, and they're honestly way better.
And more than that, a lot of people would just fall off watching his channel. The first thing you say to anyone who wants success numbers-wise now when starting out content creation is consistent pushes within one category. Be the extraction shooter guy, be the survival horror guy. Having a niche is what most content creators see initial success on, so him abandoning the game was a huge risk, but it led us to today. I'd argue he made a pretty good choice, and not just because he doesn't have to play League of Legends with Hitler anymore.
There's Hitler! Ladies and gentlemen, the real Hitler is fighting creeps at mid during the team fight.
I think it's a good thing, though, that Dunkey was one of the big creators for a lot of people my age when we were growing up, because now it feels like every other one of these fuckers gets outed as a sex offender like every other week. There's another one. It's insane. I'm just saying, the Los Angeles sex offenders list and the Minecraft YouTuber list seems to have a lot of crossover. But Dunkey didn't turn out that way. I mean, I don't know him personally. He might be a criminal too. He might try and, bypass the quarter for the grocery cart at Aldi's. I don't fucking know. But it fills me with determination seeing someone that I remember for those silly League videos doing something really cool with the platform he built for himself. And possibly solving the problem I alluded to in the title of the video, which is the indie game problem. I'm putting this line in just in case this doesn't sit in a folder unused forever and I actually edit this a little and put it up on YouTube. The footage you're seeing probably isn't Animal Well, despite that being one of the predominant topics of this video. And that's because I haven't played the game just yet. I don't stream on Thursdays, so even though Animal Well came out today, I'll be streaming it tomorrow, which would be the 10th, I guess. And I don't want to ruin my first time with the game for the sake of some background footage. And funnily enough, the contents of Animal Well don't actually matter a ton for this video in particular. Not the specifics of how the game plays, at least, but the ideas present are important. So, despite me not having played the game as I'm recording this, the general consensus on Animal Well seems to be exactly what I kind of thought it was going to be, which is that it's supposed to be really fucking good. The whole reason I'm making this video is twofold kinda, both in a broad sense and a more specific reason to this particular video. The reason this video exists is because I saw a comment today on SkillUp's review of Animal Well that I didn't even finish watching because I got a phone call halfway through actually. But the comment got to me. It was enough that after I ended the phone call, I was still kind of thinking about it. It frustrated me a little bit. I'll throw it up on screen now for anyone to read it, but I'll be addressing it a little bit more later. You see, it got to me, like really bad actually. I wasn't angry, but reading it just annoyed me in unreasonable amount, and I couldn't figure out why. I don't have any personal stakes in any of this, but it just annoyed me, and then it hit me. It wasn't just the person being like weird and rude, it was the fact that they are staunchly against what I see to be the future of indie games and how they get found. The solution to the indie game problem. The solution, which is having its blueprints laid out by Dunkey as we speak, whether he knows it or not. But in order to address the solution, I have to explain the problem, and to explain that, I have to talk about myself a little bit. I became a content creator on accident. Like I said, I watched a lot of Dunkey growing up, and all my friends I played League with, and I would quote him in all chat all the time, which I don't think was just an us thing. I think that was just a League of Legends thing. I mean, Dunkey was huge in early League. It's kind of crazy to think about. As I got older, my love of video games stayed, even if I didn't really play League of Legends anymore, and I kept watching Dunkey. And the thing that was so interesting to me about his channel is the evolution I've seen happen in his content. A lot of people have some colorful names for what he is and the videos he makes, and some colorful opinions about what he does, and I think it really is a case of the A+ student getting a worse grade than the class clown. It was probably weird for a lot of people seeing Dunkey, the guy that makes, you know, silly noises in all his videos, really articulate himself or show serious editing chops, and I think nothing shows that more than when he started making his dunk views. Going from the spaghetti and meatballs guy to explaining in depth his reasoning behind liking or disliking games from an analytical standpoint is a big jump, and I think the people who insulted him for daring to try and review games would shit a brick if they watched his video on the French comedy film Playtime. It's a fantastic film, and I think that video is a masterclass from Dunkey on flipping the script. He's a really talented dude that has some genuine writing and analysis chops, and when you combine that with his ability to make things fun to watch, you have yourself a very effective and persuasive critic. That's the broader reason I'm here recording this right now to a degree. Watching Dunkey over the years deluded me. It filled me with determination that I could maybe do the YouTube thing myself. At the very least, it made me want to try. But then life happened, and I forgot about that and never tried. And then I stumbled into being a content creator a couple of years ago. I won't bore you with the whole story, but the Cliff Notes version is that I was streaming a game to Twitch because Discord was being an asshole, and I wanted to show my friend a game. And during that little stream, someone that wasn't my friend actually stopped in. It was weird and unexpected, and so I told myself I would just try out the streaming thing by doing the whole game just to see what would happen. On the last stream of that game, it was Ease 7 by the way, I was very surprised to see my view count suddenly spike over 100, and a bunch of people followed me, and my chat was kind of zooming out of nowhere. I still don't know why, but my stupid little stream was on the screen at a gaming bar in Atlanta where some streamers I now consider very close friends sent their Discords my way, and that interaction sold me on streaming. I had this moment of like, holy shit, this is what this could be like, all these people just hanging while I game. I love this. And my first reaction was to make a video about it, about my experience, and the video sucked. But I think that holds true, that even though streaming was the first thing that I did, YouTube was my first thought for the long term, and to this day, I love both streaming and doing YouTube, but goddamn, is it satisfying seeing people enjoy one of my videos. This is going somewhere, by the way, I promise. I actually have some streamer friends that watch my stuff on their stream, though, and seeing them laugh at jokes that I wrote, or just having a good time, or even when they look away at certain parts because they get bored, is both gratifying and incredibly important for me to make things better. I mean, one of my first videos was an attempt at a weird, kind of playful video, like something that Dunkey would make, and I've since, you know, unlisted both the video describing how I got started and the kind of funny, poorly edited Dunkey style video. It was on a game called Dr. Langeskov, the Tiger and the Terribly Cursed Emerald. It's a great game, and it's free, actually, if you want to go try it. It's from some of the same people behind the Stanley Parable, which is one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite. And while by my current standards, it's certainly not something I'm proud of, for a very first attempt at trying something like that, it's not awful as a first video, actually. I'll link both of these I'm talking about in the description if anyone's morbidly curious. I've unlisted them, but they're still up, so if you have the link, you can, go enjoy a trip down my dark history of being quite bad at this YouTube thing. That video, though, this is the point here. The Dr. Langeskov video got 50 views, which was quite disheartening for me at the time. I mean, I remember I was so proud when I finished editing it of this one chaos sequence where the game just goes bananas. I edited in a bunch of sound effects, and I got far enough away from my mic to make it sound like I was yelling from a distance. This is not working! Looking back, it wasn't really that much, but keeping it coherent and all, I was proud of myself. Fast forward a couple of years, and I'm not really trying to do any one kind of video anymore. I'm just kind of doing what's fun, although I guess that's been video essays for me lately. But the fact that one thing I really try to do my best on is I try to uplift as many indie games on my channel as possible. Throughout all the iterations I've done on styles of video, that's been the consistent theme. I won't spend half an hour explaining why I love indie games so much. That's its own video, but largely thanks to Dunkey and people like him, I feel the obligation to also carry that torch and use my abilities as far as making videos goes to do my best at helping connect people that I think would love some weird niche games with those games. It is one of the most satisfying things that I do. Getting a comment that says someone bought and loved a game based on my recommendation is so heartwarming. And that brings me to the comment. I'll put the comment up on screen now for you to read. The indie game problem that I hope I haven't led you on too much of a detour away from is that there are a zillion indie games. They don't have any marketing budget. And it can be very difficult for creators of almost any size under like 100,000 subs to get any traction on videos for those smaller games. The same thing goes with streaming. If you only stream, growing as a creator means being live under categories that people scroll through. And if you're under the category for some weirdo game no one watches, then no one's gonna watch you. If you don't have a pre-established audience, that is. Indie games themselves suffer from being buried on Steam under the big AAA releases that get full banners on the main store page. And the same goes for YouTubers, because to a degree, we are the marketing for these indie games. Even taking myself out of the equation, there's a ton of talented YouTubers putting out insanely high quality content all the time that'll never see the light of day under the algorithm. There's something like 1 billion minutes of video uploaded a day to YouTube, and the odds that it's one of my videos or their videos that gets anyone's view is insane. The odds are not good. My point here is that the indie game problem lies in discoverability. Getting eyes on games and then letting them do their thing is the most important thing you can do. And much like those videos, there's a ton of amazing games that no one's ever going to know about because they didn't play the marketing game right. The way that you play that game, if you aren't familiar, is either you throw a fuckload of money at the problem or you spend time not developing your game to make entertaining social media content about your game and roll the dice that people actually watch those videos. Now, how does all this relate to the comment, to Animal Well, to Dunkey, and to Bigmode? The comment made me so upset because it very directly contradicts something that I hold in very high regard, which is people using their platform once they've made it for something awesome, like promoting indie games, for example. The reason I respect the channels that do stuff like this so much, like Co-Carnage on Twitch is a good one, for sure, and tons of people like him, is that it's risky enough doing anything and hoping to still be a relevant creator in a year. So risking their platform's long-term health to play some weirdo shit, or let's say, for example, start a publishing company specifically to use your platform to help get eyes on talented developers' games, well, that's kind of rad, isn't it? Animal Well's already very apparent success beyond the critical reception it's enjoying is the fact that, in no small part thanks to Dunkey and Bigmode, they won the marketing battle. The game is, it hit #1 on new and trending today on Steam, and one of the hardest things about indie games, even the good ones, is going from a cool trailer and transferring that trailer, that someone that sees that trailer and then also goes to buy the game. That is a difficult, transition to make. I see a lot of trailers for games where I go, oh cool, and then I never think about it again or see the game or buy the game. Dunkey's particular brand of promotion has seriously benefited Animal Well because he was able to post videos every day in the week leading up to Animal Well. He had people memeing about the game, and now that it's out, a ton of people who might have seen the trailer forever ago and just said, oh cool, and forgot about it, well, now they're buying and playing the game. Bigmode is a resounding success for the indie scene because it bypasses the problem where indie games don't get enough eyes on them. Bigmode and publishers like them are the solution to the indie problem. And you know what? Fuck that guy. I don't feel like doing the backtrack research to find all the comments and tweets, but I remember a lot of people within the industry had the same reaction as that guy in the comments, albeit a bit more specific to Bigmode than YouTubers. When Dunkey announced Bigmode, there was an overwhelming amount of people that made comments like, he shouldn't even be trying this, or this is an awful idea. I mean, there was people within the industry with, decent sized followings publicly wishing him to fail. Good Lord. I mean, the gatekeeping is entirely the problem. There's no rules to this, and taking Dunkey and who he is out of the equation, is it not a good thing that indie games in the future can sign on with Bigmode, knowing they'll get the attention and treatment Billy Basso's Animal Well is right now? I mean, the game looks sick, and thanks to its publisher doing the legwork, it has all the eyes on it to sell like fucking hotcakes.
It's got pretty good reviews. It's selling like hotcakes. it. Here comes the money. I'm a millionaire once again. I'm back on top.
The game has to be good too. I mean, the whole model doesn't work if the game sucks, but from everything I've seen, Billy seems to have done a great job, and the extra eyes on his project just serve to allow him to show off his game dev skills to a larger audience where more people can appreciate it. There is no glory or honor in the tortured, starving artist bit. I don't understand why people are so obsessed with games and content creators and musicians staying hidden gems. I don't want Animal Well to be a hidden gem. I want Billy Basso to be able to make game development his job. I want creative people to create cool things, not work dead-end jobs just to make ends meet. Even for myself, like, fuck, I don't want to be a hidden gem. I just want to be a gem that showcases gems. That's what I want for all the content creators way better than me, putting out, you know, quality shit that gets swallowed up by the algorithm in the billion minutes of video uploaded on here every day. Or streaming to, you know, a couple people on Twitch because they simply don't have the eyes on them to realize that they're actually great. I love these little small fry video games, as that one comment called them, and I want them to pollute my feed. It drives me insane because that person is the same person who buys Madden every year and then bitches that it doesn't get any better, but refuses to try something new or weird or, God forbid, indie. It's great seeing large channels covering indie games because, frankly, most channels just don't. I mean, the numbers just aren't there, and to a certain extent, committing to covering indie games is kind of resigning yourself to hoping you get lucky and blow up. There just isn't as much traffic as being Trickshot 360 big ballsack god tier at Call of Duty, and that's something I definitely feel the effect of. I basically only play indie or AA games on my stream anymore, and it definitely has limited my growth. There's a ton of other stuff that has as well, like the fact that I'm not a very good streamer. That's me? That's me. See me? That's me. I'm cute. I'm jerking off this box for points to cleanse me of my sins. Look at my technique. But always streaming tiny little no-name indies probably doesn't help any, even if I'm really enjoying myself. The same goes for videos I make. I can make a 17-minute video showcasing 4 climbing games to the best of my ability and it gets 300 views, but that one video where I talked about a booby game gets 200,000. I can't promise the numbers to get these games in front of people if they trust me with an early copy. I try my best, but I can't promise anything. But Dunkey and Bigmode can, and other creators can. I'm going to keep doing what I do, and I hope it works for me someday, but for now, until I get there and can do it myself, I'm glad for the Dunkeys and the Bigmodes out there. And if this ever makes it to Billy Basso and Dunkey and Leah, congrats guys, you're fucking killing it. And there's a lot of people out there really, really happy to see it. Thanks for watching.